Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Hello, I'm Randy Wright, chaplain at Park Point Village in Rock Hill, South Carolina. In 1932, a 32-year-old jazz musician, Tommy A. Dorsey, wrote, "Precious Lord, take my hand." I love playing and singing this strong, comforting spiritual. Here's the backstory. On a hot August afternoon in the south side of Chicago, Tommy Dorsey left his wife Nettie to travel to St. Louis. He was the featured soloist at a large revival meeting. Nettie was in the last month of her first pregnancy. Tommy was reluctant to leave, but did so anyway. Something told him to skip this engagement in St. Louis, but he felt he must honor it. While in St. Louis, Tommy heard the tragic news that Nettie had died. He rushed back home to find that she had given birth to a son. Sadly, though, their baby died not long after Tommy arrived. He buried Nettie and his son in the same casket, and he buried himself in his grief. The young musician gave up on God and life. He withdrew in his torment and despair. He tortured himself emotionally for not staying with Nettie that August afternoon. Eventually, a dear friend, Professor Fry, took Tommy Dorsey to a neighborhood music school, Madame Malone's Poirot College. One quiet evening, as the sun crept through a curtained window, Tommy sat down at a piano. His hands began to browse over the keys. In his words, "Something happened to me, then I felt at peace. I felt as though I could reach out and touch God. I found myself playing a melody, one I'd never heard or played before, and the words came into my head. They just seemed to fall into place." Knowing that God had given him the words and melody, Dorsey concluded, "I learned that when we are in our deepest grief, when we feel farthest from God, this is when he is the closest and when we are most open to his restoring power." In chapter 41, verse 13 of his prophecy, Isaiah wrote, "For I am the Lord your God, who upholds your right hand, who says to you, do not fear, I will help you." The Lord our God took Tommy Dorsey by the hand and helped him. God continues to offer his hand. These days, I find myself grasping that outstretched hand very tightly.